Hey guys, it's B, and this is part 2, or episode 2, of how to actually get better at Call of Duty. So, last time I talked about... Oh, by the way, the gameplay is probably not going to be very good. I'm just going to throw this out there. Probably not going to be very good because, like I said in the last episode, I think, my controller is sort of messed up, and I've actually not been able to sprint very easily. Sometimes I can, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And, even sometimes normal walking doesn't work, like I'm walking into a wall or something, even though I'm not. So you'll see probably some weird walking things, glitches and stuff going on. And this makes it a lot harder to get higher scores and stuff. But, you know, I think it's a decent score for playing with a messed up controller anyways. So yeah, don't expect anything too amazing, but, you know, whatever. It's all I can get right now since I have like I said, like 5 times already, my controller's messed up. So anyways, last episode I talked about sensitivity. And I do want to go a little bit deeper into that. A couple things that I didn't mention. First of all, another reason to use snipe or to use a higher sensitivity is if you're using a sniper rifle. As you'll see right here. Basically, I just, you know, you can see how first of all, I did what's called a drag scope, basically, when you drag the scope with a sniper rifle over an enemy in order to kill them faster, or to get, you know, your aim on faster. As you can see, it takes a lot longer with lower sensitivity, thus kind of defeating the purpose, and with higher sensitivity, it's a lot more effective and easier, and, yeah. That's another reason. If you're using a sniper rifle, then you're probably going to want a much higher sensitivity. Because you can actually, when you're aimed down the scope, you move a lot slower if you're on a slower sensitivity. Like, your aim is actually a lot slower. So, and if you're on a higher sensitivity, of course, you'll be able to move the scope around a lot faster. And not only will you be able to do this drag scope faster, you'll also be able to acquire targets faster. You'll be able to move from one target to another more effectively, more easily, more quickly, of course. And, yeah, that's basically the whole point of it. So if you're going to use a sniper rifle, I'd recommend a higher sensitivity, or switching to a higher sensitivity, if you're not already using a really high one. Another thing I want to mention is I recently saw a video. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Ronaldinho. He's sort of a YouTube commentator. Yeah, he's like really amazing. He's got like a 12 KD in Black Ops or something, like really ridiculous amounts of, really good KD ratio, yeah. Anyways, he made a video recently, a few days ago, talking about, well, he briefly mentioned his sensitivity, but during the whole video he was talking about, I don't know, just general tips about Call of Duty and stuff, and sort of like what I'm doing here, but, you know, well, he's obviously better at this game than I am, so I guess he's a better source, but still. I'll put a link to that video that I'm talking about in the description or on the screen and stuff, so you can see that if you want. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, during that video, though, he mentioned that, well, first of all, I just want to point out he does have, like, really, really good accuracy. He is amazingly accurate and aims very, very well. But he also plays on high sensitivity. He plays on, like, 8 or something. I think he said he switches up between like 8 and 10 or something. I don't know. Either way, he plays on a high sensitivity, but he's still able to be very accurate. And I'm not sure how he does it, but he's just really good, so he can do that. But you know, he does say there that that you don't have to. You know, he says that some people say that you have to have that to be accurate you have to have a lower sensitivity, which I did sort of maybe. When I was talking about that in the last video, it might have sounded like that's what I meant. Although that's not exactly what I mean. While it is definitely easier to aim with a lower sensitivity, obviously you can aim very well, and he's proof of it, that you can aim very well on a higher sensitivity. It's just that it's harder for most people, for the average player, to actually have really good aim on a higher sensitivity. I mean, I've gotten used to it enough where I can aim fairly well on a high sensitivity, but at very long range, sometimes I'll just have trouble staying on target. Even then, I'm still able to get those long-range kills. It's just a little less easy. So, if you're, thinking, if you just notice that you're a really accurate person, you notice that you are able to, usually if you have a high accuracy, I guess, in your statistics, or you just notice that you're pretty accurate, you might want to try turning up your sensitivity a little bit. If you're not already on a high sensitivity, if you just turn it up a little bit, I'm sure it could improve your gameplay a lot, because there are a lot of benefits to having a higher sensitivity, which that video I mentioned, he does actually go over that. Several benefits of having a higher sensitivity, I think. So, yeah. Another thing I want to mention is, in the last video I talked about getting used to two sensitivities, like 3 and 10. Now that I've been thinking about this and trying this out a little bit more, I think it might be more effective to stick to two sensitivities that are around the same area instead of two that are completely opposite, like 3 and 10. Like, for example, like 7 and 10. They're pretty similar, but when you're at a longer range map and you might need more accuracy and you won't need to turn quite as fast in more situations, you could switch over to 7. And then at close range maps, then, where accuracy doesn't matter so much, you can use 10. And I've been trying this, and this has been working out a lot better for me, because it's a lot easier to get used to two sensitivities that are close to each other, and it seems to be more effective. I can aim a lot better with 7 at long range, but at 10 I can be much more, or at close range I can be much more effective with 10. So that's kind of what's been working for me. I still think it's a pretty good idea to learn two different sensitivities, and that's sort of what I've been doing lately. I think it's been working pretty well. So I'm not going to talk only about sensitivity in this video. I'm also going to mention a couple other things. This is going to be sort of like a mixed topic video. I wanted to just get that out of the way first and mention go in a little more detail about the last topic of sensitivity. Now I'm going to mention how you can actually probably improve your KD ratio by doing this. Basically what I've been trying to do recently is try to be more prepared, I guess, for battles that are going to happen. Like, you could be walking around or running around. First of all, that's one thing I want to mention. Don't run too much. I've learned this from having a broken controller that lets me not sprint, and it's actually helped me a lot. I'm even with the broken controller, I'm winning a lot more gunfights. It's just, well, I'm not, I'm dying a lot more because I can't run away from things and stuff. There's a grenade coming at me, I can't really run, and then I end up dying most of the time. Stuff like that. But despite that, I'm usually winning a lot more of my gunfights now that my controller actually broke like this, because I'm being forced not to run around, and I've also been using Stalker a lot lately, which I highly, highly recommend you use. It's very useful, and very underrated for the non-pro version. But you can use it to aim down sights every time you walk around a corner. Just if there's a possibility that someone's around the corner and you have Stalker on, just aim down your sights around the corner. And if you do that, you'll win your gunfights like 10 times more often. If somebody's around the corner with a shotgun and your sights are not up, you're probably going to die. If your sights are up, even with an assault rifle or something, you'll probably be able to kill them before they can even get a shot off. So that's definitely a very, very good reason to use Stalker. And also a good reason to use a higher sensitivity, because when you're using a higher sensitivity, you can basically turn around those corners faster. So that's another good reason to use a high sensitivity, like I mentioned earlier. So, just try not to sprint all that often. Like, if you know that you're in a somewhat dangerous zone where somebody could just pop out of nowhere at any time, just, you need to be a lot more cautious, because most people just, would sprint right through there, and then they get caught while they're sprinting, and they die because they can't pull out their gun fast enough. I guess Steady Aim Pro would help with this, but even then, if you know you're in an area where someone could just pop out of nowhere at any time, then you're gonna want to not sprint, or better yet, even just walk around aiming down your sights the whole time if you're using Stalker. Even on an assault rifle, it's even better on a submachine gun because you move faster. But even with an assault rifle, that's still fine. Works fine. I've been using assault rifles a lot lately, as you can see by this gameplay. I'm pretty much only using the Scar because, well, I don't really want to use a submachine gun because I can't really take advantage of the high mobility since I can't sprint. But, anyways, you'll see me probably a lot of times just aiming down sights around corners, and sometimes just walking halfway across the map aiming down sights the whole time. And it's been actually doing me a lot of good in terms of winning gunfights a lot more effectively. So I recommend you try to do that, actually. You try to aim down sights a lot more often using Stalker. Try to be a lot more careful around corners or around anywhere where somebody could just pop out of nowhere and kill you. And another thing, if you kill somebody, and this was actually mentioned in Ronaldinho's video, like I mentioned before, but he also talked about how if you kill somebody and you're not using a silencer, chances are more people are going to come after you, and that you shouldn't, like, right after killing somebody, you shouldn't reload unless you absolutely have to, or you shouldn't start sprinting immediately after you kill somebody. Because likely, if you kill somebody with an unsilenced weapon, likely someone's going to come after you. And even with an unsilenced weapon, they still get that white skull on their screen that shows where their teammate died, so they'll often run to that as well. It's just a silencer helps you get away more easily if you know, because they show the silencer if you're shooting an unsilenced weapon, you know, that'll show where you killed from. But if you're shooting a silenced weapon, the enemy will only know where you killed the enemy, or where the enemy died from, if you know what I mean. It'll only show you their teammate's place of death, and it won't show where you were when you killed them, basically. So it can help you get away if you're using a silencer or something. But generally, just because they can know where you are after you kill somebody, one way or another, you should always try to avoid just sprinting right after you get the kill, which a lot of people, including myself, do very frequently. You have to expect it. You have to expect someone to pop around the corner and try to attack you. Even if it doesn't happen the majority of the time, it's still a really good thing to do, and it'll save you several deaths for sure. I know it's saved me quite a few once my controller broke and I wasn't able to sprint. So I can't sprint right after killing somebody. I'm forced not to, and I've noticed that I've been able to actually get a lot more kills soon after getting other kills just because of that. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Also, something I noticed some people do is they don't take advantage of their secondary weapons. When if you need a reload or something, it's good to have a handgun secondary. Most people would choose a machine pistol, but, they're slower. You can't pull them out as fast. They're good in certain situations for certain classes, but, people need to use handguns a little bit more. They pull out really fast. If you damage somebody and you need to reload, or even if you just ran out of ammo, you need to swap out to something really fast. They're a very, very good choice. As you'll see several times during this gameplay, I do swap out to my handgun. Sometimes even when I don't need a reload or anything, sometimes just because I'm trying to get kills from my handgun because I want to level it up. You'll see that probably a couple times during this gameplay where I use handgun in inappropriate moments, but that's despite the point. Anyways, that's going to be about it for this video. The next ones will be more topic-oriented and not so scattered like this, hopefully. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. This one's really long, sorry about that. But, I've got a lot to say. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.